What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wild Thoughts. We didn't have our intro tonight. We back here having technical difficulties. We were struggling for our life. So we'll figure out the technical difficulties later. We just wanted to get on and get the show rolling. We about 30 minutes behind. I was trying to get on, and I was actually on time tonight. I was trying to get on at 7:15. I was actually trying to get on at 7:15, but the devil is busy. Uh, but I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. I'm excited because we have a new co-host joining us tonight, all the way from Georgia.
Georgia.
Give it up for Freckles, y'all. Give it for my
What up,
homegirl,
what up, what up?
Sexual Chocolate. We got
Chocolate
Mars.
chips.
Everybody always be happy to see Mars. I don't know why this nigga is like a fan favorite or some shit. I feel like I don't like it.
I just speak my mind.
Everybody be like, oh, Mars is here.
He's
Oh,
saucy.
Mars is
That's
back. I
why.
don't like that shit. My ego don't like it.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Go ahead because I'm beautiful, nigga.
All right, so look, we're gonna jump right into it tonight. We're gonna jump into the Pass the Ox, and this week's Pass the Ox is gonna be dedicated to Tyler the Creator, his career, and his new album that just dropped. I'm like proud of not only the music, but the way he dropped it, the marketing behind it, the whole. Because like almost every album now he has like a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so. This I don't know what this new character is. It's almost like the anti. I feel like to me, it feels like the anti-industry character. But the new album Chromacopia is amazing. Once again, he's done it production-wise. Like I don't know. Let me get what do y'all think of what y'all saw? The Noid is my joint. Like I don't know. Even the joint he's on the airplane. That joint he's going crazy on that. Y'all give me some of y'all thoughts. Let's start with ladies first. Let's start with Freckles tonight.
Ah, let's not. I haven't listened to it all the way through.
Okay.
In my eyes, really, Tyler can almost do no wrong because I just love that he feels hella free to just be whomever, whatever in the moment.
He is not afraid to take chances. And he did a show out here and the performance was amazing. Like they had clips of him performing. I was like, oh, this is good stuff, man. Like I feel like music, like it feels like an extension of like what Tyler gave to us. You know what I mean? What Kendrick gave to us, an extension of like some more good way out there music. Like, and I'm not saying that this because I'm sure he had been working on this music, so I'm not saying it's like a direct, like it's a direct link to the Kendrick stuff, but it just feel like it's a good continuation of what Kendrick was doing musically, taking chances and doing some different stuff. Anybody else get a chance to watch any of the Chromacopia videos or even the commercials, the intro? Mars, I know you did. What do you think, man? Tell me your thoughts.
I loved it, especially since from a layman's perspective, you can relate to all that shit. Like people just jumping up on you, invading your space and whatnot. Like I loved it. I love the fact that he popped up and was delivering the merch to his actual customers. Shit was hilarious. I loved it. It was like everything was dope. Even when he was announcing, or he was kind of sneak announcing like who would be participating on his tour and whatnot.
Yeah, with the airplane. Yeah.
Like it caught me off guard. I was like, literally, I mean, like, what the fuck? But at the same time, it's like, I got my tickets today, so I'm happy about that shit. But I'm going for Tyler. I'm not going for all that extra fluff. But I loved everything about it.
How much were the tickets?
I got this is what kind of threw me off. I'm so used to that range of like tickets, like between like $75 as far as cheap. Nah, his cheapest ticket was like $150.
Really?
I paid $150, and I'm seeing him at the Barclay. But it's like after seeing him at Coachella's dead. Like I'm very interested to see him perform. And I've said this before. Like you and I, Damon, you and I had this conversation. I think this tour and Kendrick's tour, aside from the Wildlands tour, will be the last tours that I go and see, because I don't feel that artists can entertain and have the catalog to do 90-minute shows.
That's kind of sad. So there's nobody else you want to go see?
Nope. I just want to see Tyler, Kendrick, Wild Bunch. That's it. I don't even want to. Yeah, no, I'm being serious. Oh,
well, yeah.
Schoolboy Q. Yeah.
I was gonna say, but I know we kind of had this conversation about new artists in general, right? And like going to see them perform and what they would actually do and what they would actually pull off live, and
but
why.
They don't have the catalog to keep your
Well,
attention.
I was gonna say that's why I say so many legacy artists are doing so well. Like we talk about the Jodeci's, we talk about the Usher, we talk about the Tank. You know, those legacy artists, SWV, like they coming out and they making a killing on tour, because it's almost like you got to go see them in order to get that full range of entertainment. I'm not saying none of the new cast, because I think Anderson .Paak does a great show. Bruno Mars does a great show.
Yeah, but they don't really appeal to that nerd aspect of me.
Yeah, because those nerd shows used to be crazy.
Yeah,
but Bruno's kind of a throwback, stylistically to, what I'm saying, earlier era anyway. So the packaging, the stage showmanship and shit like that.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you as well. But I don't know, Bruno, because he's disappeared for quite a number of years, he now feels like a niche performer. Like, he has the zoo suits and everything, and it's almost like I have to be in the mood to see him perform, as opposed to getting excited seeing what Kendrick did. Actually going back and listening to the catalog for Tyler, which I was like, oh wow, you really did a lot of stuff. Yeah. But at the same time, now as an adult, where I can go back and I have a deeper appreciation for lyrics, like that little motherfucker has been saying stuff, and I wasn't a day one Tyler.
Yeah, me either. But you grew on me. But I did go back and like listen to like the Odd Future shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, some of the Odd Future shit I was into when it came out, but like really knowing that he was the creative force in it, to like really take a deep listen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's been doing it.
Yeah. And I think artistically, because like you said, I start peeping. I forgot there was a video. Rex, you might remember this. There was a video where he was basically playing like a black skinhead. Like he was, the video where he looked like a skinhead, and he was like had white skin, and he had the t-shirt and khakis on, dressed like American History X.
Oh yeah.
I think from that song on, I think that's when he caught my eye. Like, of course, the first thing that got everybody's attention when he ate the cockroach in the video. That was like the first thing.
Conkers. I think it was called Conkers or something like that.
Yeah. No, that. Yeah. So then, but when I saw the video, when I started getting into him was when I saw that video where he was like the skinhead, and then you get into Igor, then you get into all those albums. Like I think from Igor on, I think he kind of found his footing in regards to like, this is the kind of artist I'm going to be. I'm going to be more like a concept artist. Every album is going to be a concept from like this specific character. And I think that's tough to do, not only once, but to do it over and over again successfully. But then that last album where he worked with Pharrell, and I think that was a great match, him and Pharrell, where they worked together, the record with him, Pharrell, and Charlie Wilson. Amazing. Yeah. That's an amazing record. And like I said, listen to Chromacopia. He did a good job, I think, of doing stuff that feels really Odd Future-ish, really feels Tyler the Creator, but also doing some stuff that's a little more contemporary. Like I think he got a couple more tunes on this album with Pharrell as well. Speaking of Pharrell, I did not know Pharrell did "We Gonna Be All Right" for Kendrick.
I
did not know that.
No, Pharrell on the low, like his pulse, he had his hands on the pulse as far as hip hop.
That's crazy, because that does not sound like a Pharrell record at all.
You found out from Piece by Piece?
Yeah. I was in the theater like, what?
Yeah. I didn't know he did the Rex and Effects, the verse
So
that he
I
gave
knew
Teddy Riley.
that. Yeah, I knew
I
that
didn't
the
know
One
that.
Second
Yeah.
joint. Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know he did the "We Gonna Be All Right." The piece by piece was really dope. Like we talked about it on the show. The Snoop Dogg whole Snoop Dogg section was hilarious and amazing. He was like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Snoop is like 6'5", and there's like 10 Crips, and they all over 6 feet. But that, but like I said, I think Tyler, his whole career, and to your point, Mars, he's one of the few artists too that's a little, I guess you can't really say newer because we keep talking about newer, but Tyler been around since
Mhm.
what, 2009,
Yeah,
2010.
been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Been out for a
Yeah.
minute.
And the thing about it is, like, I've been talking about this stuff as well. As far as like quality of rap, quality of music, everything is coming from the West Coast, LA, California.
Ooh, so you said ain't no new coming from New York right now? Ain't no new
Hell,
coming
I mean, they got this one chick called London Fog, and she's dope, but she's not going to appeal to everyone. She has like a lot of island flavor.
Uh-huh.
And I'd probably say give her like 5 years, she'll discover herself. But
Oh,
as of right now, me as a purist, lyrical purist, I'm not listening to anything outside the West Coast. I'm sorry.
have y'all heard of
Oh, wait.
Doechii?
Yes, she's dope too.
Nah.
She's out of
Oh.
TDE too, right?
Yep. And Kendrick already anointed her as the next big thing.
You know what's crazy? And I ain't trying to start no controversy, but
Started.
there are a lot of parallels to Rick James' sound on that Doechii record.
Mm-hmm. Yo, go listen to her interviews. She is so down to earth.
Yeah,
She's anti-fame.
I think she's super dope. Like the records I heard, she's dope. Like
Mhm.
she's a beast. But again, like you said, this West Coast. Like anything fresh coming from the South, Freckles?
Mm.
I do have one. I do have one from the South.
Who?
Maxo Cream from Houston. That
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker
Yeah.
is the
That
shit.
makes you go crazy.
Yeah.
That song with him and Tyler, I went back and listened to all his old catalog. Holy shit. So I do feel good about Houston. Houston, shout out to Houston. Y'all doing your thing. Y'all need to get behind that young brother. Because his story is also crazy. But as far as the East Coast, I'm sorry, we ain't got nobody. But I had to go listen to Big Daddy Kane just to feel good about myself.
When do you think that happened? I feel like it kind of happened when I was talking about this the other day with somebody. I think it felt like New York not fell off, but kind of lost their way when ASAP Rocky came off.
It fell off.
That's when you could. Okay, New York fell off after the ASAP Rocky era because I'm like, you couldn't even tell ASAP was from New York. So then what happened was that New York flavor started to go away from the artist because ASAP sounded like he was from Atlanta to me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that didn't feel like New York at all. Like, cause New York always had a feel. Like you could hear something be like, "Oh, they from NY, they from the East Coast. That's Philly. That's what I mean." And then I feel like after ASAP, they start using like West Coast slang in New York music and Chicago slang, saying the ops. Just like all the things that kept us regionally separated started to be gone. And I think New York lost that the most, and West Coast fought to hold on. Like, nah, we gonna make sure the West Coast sounds like the West Coast. We gonna make sure we got that West Coast lingo because we always pushing the culture in regards to lingo and stuff like that.
Well, that's an interesting take. To me, honestly, I feel New York lost itself after the success of "It's a Hard Knock Life" with Jay-Z.
Damn, that long ago?
Yeah, because the thing about it was the boroughs didn't have any artists in which they can get behind and say, "Yo, that's us." The boroughs didn't have anyone. It's like, yeah, you had the whole thing with Nas and Jay-Z, but at the end of the day, there wasn't really like that pride of within the boroughs. As far as the West Coast, when I got out there, what drew me to a lot of the West Coast music is the fact that those artists that we were listening to, those young artists like the YGs, the Kendricks, the Schoolboy, they didn't give a fuck. They didn't care about being square, like the whole Black Hippie thing. Just the name Black Hippie drew my attention because it was like, that's different. It sounds different. just visually, it's like, okay, and me being an outlier, I was like, I can identify with that because I'm different. I enjoy being weird. I'm a nerdish tendencies. But when you look at the East Coast, like everyone, it almost felt like the success of Jay-Z and then him doing all those features and collaborations, it almost felt like artists felt that they had to follow that blueprint.
Well,
Look
yeah,
at,
but I do feel like y'all still had a lot of success post that album. Like I feel
but we
like there's
didn't.
still a run of like the Beanie Siegel era, the Nas had a couple more big records out there. Even Nas more recent records. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The records
Kings.
that Nas did with Hit Boy. Yeah, the records Nas
Mhm.
did with Hit Boy. Like Method Man. Like there was after the Hard Knock Life, there was a lot of dope albums. But like I said, I think
But
the
wait,
feeling of
what?
New York sounding like New York to me ended
mhm.
around I love bad bitches. That's my fucking prop. Like
But
that era, I feel
right.
like that's when we started to kind of lose New York, and everything kind of started to sound like Atlanta for a little bit.
You said something very interesting and very important. Was it good albums or good singles? Because
Mm,
I think it was the fact that there were so many singles is what ruined that New York feel or dominance. Because all anyone was
okay,
thinking about was I just need a hit single.
okay. I'm
Well,
not gonna argue against
the
that.
labels may have been pushing that and fucking it up too. You know, it may
Mhm.
not just have been the artistry. The
Well, I
labels start to change the narrative and shit. Not necessarily at that crossroad that you're talking about, but I
mhm.
mean that seems to be prevalent. Period. I don't know if
Right.
it's so as prevalent on the West Coast, honestly, but yeah, the narrative shift could be
Mhm.
part of that. Even ASAP Rocky joint, like you said, it sounds different, but
Yeah.
the topics and shit is different. Like usually, excuse me, East Coast niggas be trying to spit more knowledge, and you know what I'm saying. Even their crimes are even their crime raps
Right.
are more schematic diagrams kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But
True. And I wasn't
yeah,
trying to walk around being hard with a pink fur jacket on. So,
yeah. Well, that's a whole other psychology that I wonder about. But we don't. That's another show.
mhm. But it's like, and the thing about it, like this is such a great topic, but I feel it's such a deep topic.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's, I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go into it. I feel like Atlanta was killing for so long. I think some people
Mhm.
got swept up in like we need to kind of we need to sound like Future, or you need to get a feature with Future. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, so a lot of stuff started to sound like Atlanta based on how big Atlanta was. Because remember when uh 2 Chains was at it like his
Mhm.
height, everybody was doing like a 2 Chains type record, even on the West Coast. Like there was a bunch of West Coast artists doing it too, New York artists. A lot of people was
Mhm.
doing it, and I think it's like after that, I don't know. I feel like the line started to get blurred between like the sound of the West Coast, the East Coast, the Midwest. Because if we go back and talk about the early 2000s, there was a clear line, like
Mhm.
Midwest, East Coast, down south, deeper down south,
Mhm.
Miami booty music. Because Miami was different than Atlanta. Atlanta was different than Houston. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Mhm.
there was like delineation through all of those coasts, and I feel like we kind of lost that a little bit. And it could go to some of your point, Mars, about labels probably pushing a single sound. And if
Mhm.
as we know, when you're trying to push a single sound, they trying to chase whatever's on the radio, not chase what's coming next.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And by the
Well,
time you come out, what you was chasing is gone already.
mhm. I will say this, and again, this kind of piggybacks some of our previous topics, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit. This Tyler tour, as well as the upcoming Kendrick tour, I have a feeling it is going to change the business of music
Mm,
because looking at what Tyler's doing as far as like his merch, and especially paying close attention to what Kendrick is doing with his merch.
mm-hmm.
Why do you need a label?
Well, we've been saying that for years in
Yeah,
regards to
exactly.
like,
That's not
especially when
cutting
you that big. Like
Right.
I remember Busta Rhymes after it was right before he did the Extinction Level Event 2, and he was like, "I don't have a label right now." I'm like, Busta, you got enough of a following, name recognition, where
Right.
you could probably put your own record out, put your own staff together. But a lot of those old school legacy artists probably they so used to the machine, they don't feel like they can be the machine.
Right. Like
Well,
if any,
it's a lot more work too than
Yeah.
being able to sit back and just get on a plane and fly to the next joint and you know what I'm saying, and pack up and go to the next. It's not the same as being responsible for your marketing and all of the reporting, the promotional forethought. You know what I mean? Even when you're on the road, the record label is a city or two ahead of you with drumming up more of a wave before you touch down in that city and shit like that. So somebody's got to be responsible for that, you know.
I kind of question that model now, V-Ray.
Why?
Because, and I'm specifically speaking to hip hop, I don't really hear those interviews.
Well, not interviews necessarily, but I mean social media splashes and shit like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But do you really need to rely on the label to do that stuff? Or you can just hire.
That's my point.
Right.
Well, you don't need to, but still, even hiring your own vendors for that stuff is that still takes some organization and a mental business plan on your own. That shit doesn't just happen. You know what I mean? If you got see, you've been in the industry, man. You got a different vantage point from a 2-time award-winning motherfucker that ain't had to do anything.
No,
real,
it's
I'm
not.
just saying.
No, but I was always an outlier. I never liked doing cookie cutter stuff.
But you know the inner workings of corporate record labels, though. I'm not saying you were one of them, but
man, it's like this. I look at product as product. If you're selling crack, you know exactly what you got to do to sell crack. Music is the product. It's just getting it and just getting it in front of people. And sometimes you got to sprinkle a little bit of free samples. Damn, I really sound like
okay. So with selling crack analogy, you still gotta get your weight. You gotta cook that shit. You gotta motherfucking have a stash spot for that shit. You gotta be responsible for guarding your money. You gotta make sure your ass don't get robbed. And you got to be out there on the corner selling that shit and paying off the cops. There, you know what I'm saying? Even with the crack, there's shit that's got to be done. That shit don't just happen. That shit don't niggas be like, hey, we gonna put this record out, get that shit on the radio. Like, what the fuck does get that shit on the radio really mean? You know what I mean? You know that, man. You know that, Rob.
As a disclaimer, we are not advocating for anyone to go out there and sell crack.
Well,
we're just using it as
two people can sell crack, not everybody. but my point is, it's layered. It's levels to that shit, man. You know.
But that's the thing, though. It's like you want to know. It's just dry, man. There's no creativity, and it's like when you see people like Kendrick, and you see people like Tyler, and you see people like Doechii, and you see people like Maxo and whatnot. There's a little bit of creativity in which it's like, oh yeah, that's different. So it catches your attention. It's like you're looking at sexy red. I'm not trying to go out there and get gonorrhea lip balm. Nah, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah. Well, they definitely are from the creative standpoint, where you can close your eyes, take one singer out of a playlist and drop another one in there and not realize that you switch singers. Yeah, for sure.
My booty brown lip balm.
But the other thing that separates the men from the boys is that the showmanship. You know what I'm saying? These older cats, I think, are making ripples and stuff now because they know the theatrics that are required on stage. Like you were saying before, you wouldn't want to go see a tour of some of the younger rappers because you don't know what you're going to see. But if you look at any of these award shows or anywhere where they're performing live, quote unquote, you can see they stand in one spot. They don't really work the stage a lot and shit like that. So you know what you're going to get. And nobody's telling them, hey, dumbass, you can't just stand on the piece of tape on the floor and do a whole up-tempo fast song and shit. And you know what I'm saying? They don't have that.
Right.
That's not built in, you know.
Well,
some people have it as innate, but some people have to be taught that. And I think this era has put less emphasis on that. So touring is going to suffer, period.
Right. I just don't think that majority of the artists today care. The only thing is that they're more concerned about likes.
Yeah, but since you don't get record sales cuts anymore, I mean, you get streaming pay, but it's way more laborious to collect big money. So touring is where the artists make their big dollars and shit. Nobody's cutting it unless they are dumb enough to sign a 360 deal with Live Nation or whoever, or with the label. But if they don't have a show, you know, that then they cut their own throat because they're going to cut off their tour income when the word gets out that their shows are terrible.
Yeah.
Sure.
In my opinion, I'm just saying.
Agreed. But like I said, it's a very deep topic, and I know, David, you got a whole bunch of stuff that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah. We're gonna move on to the next, but it is. We can talk about that all night because it turns everything. But again, to go to the original point, shout out to Tyler, the Creator, man, for doing
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, one other question on this tour: who's opening for Tyler?
God damn, Little Uzi Vert. I have to actually sit there and watch Black Young Liberace and shit.
Hey, but you often say, you know what though? As much as he ain't my cup of tea, he's entertaining.
He got a couple of joints.
Yeah, but his show is entertaining. He's entertaining.
Is it? See, I haven't seen it perform. I have seen him perform.
I wouldn't rock with it, but he not just standing still. You know what I mean? Like he's just not.
Yeah, I know he's shaking his hips and all that stuff. I saw that video from Coachella. I know, you know, all those alphabet boys are gonna get all happy and shit. He's gonna come out there with a little lip balm, looking like the guy from Prodigy. I'm the fire starter and shit. Like, I mean, I don't know. That is not my cup of tea. I might just sit there and look at it.
But at least he's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Like I can get why he's probably put on the tour. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense. That's
or just go late, Black Rob. You don't have to show up on time.
No, the thing is, I'm gonna want to see it. The thing is, what I don't understand, and I wish I actually had the 6 degrees of separation to Kendrick. What did you see in which you said, you know something, I'm gonna collaborate with you on my Miss Morale album? Because he did spit some bars on Kendrick's album, but again, he's not really my cup of tea. But I would love to understand, you know, from K-Dot's perspective, like what exactly is it that you saw? What was your communication where you were like, yes, I'm going to take you on the money? God damn, the Yankees losing. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, they was up. Y'all been up for
6-5 a minute ago.
Yeah, baby.
Rob's commentary is gonna turn real dark now, bro.
Man.
Rob gonna turn into Dark MAGA, as Elon Musk calls himself. Dark
Jesus. Now it's time to fire Boom, but that's a discussion for another day.
Go Doyers.
Go Doyers.
Go Doyers. For the community spotlight, we're gonna go back to last week's community spotlight. We are trying to raise money for drums for the School of the Blind in Africa. The drums cost $650. I will put in the comments where you can send the money. Grayson's View, GraysonsView. Grayson's View. We need to raise $650. What up, Shannon? We need to raise $650 to get the drums and get them sent over there. It's 400 kids. The drum set they have is terrible. If y'all know any drummers who got sponsorships, I tried to reach out to a couple I know. I've been getting crickets, but you know how these industry dudes is. I'm gonna try again though. I don't mind begging when it's for a good cause, so I'm gonna try again. But yeah, we want to get these drums to these kids, and let's make sure y'all spread the word. Grayson's View, that's his Cash App. That's the I think it was Cash App and Venmo. Cash App and Venmo. Grayson's View. So if y'all can, man, please donate. Anything count. $5, $10. Like I don't care. Like try to donate. We want to get these kids some drums ASAP. And I think it just, you know, that's our community corner for this week. Again, we're gonna push for getting those drums to the school in Africa. Pass the word that we're trying to raise money for these children. All right. All right. So let's argue portion. Ooh. Tupac versus Biggie. Now, before we start the full argument, I'm gonna go around the room and ask who you picking. Out of Tupac and Biggie. So V-Ray, Tupac and Biggie, who you picking?
Biggie, bro.
Rex, out of Tupac and Biggie, who you picking?
I'm taking Pac.
Come on, bro. You know
Mars,
who you gonna
Biggie.
pick.
Oh, you don't have to ask me that question. You already know. I gotta represent Brooklyn on that one.
It's big. Yeah, you from Brooklyn. Freckles, Tupac. Let me try to guess what Freckles gonna say.
Man, she thinking
She's a
about
poet.
Tupac's
So is
abs right
Tupac
now.
a
Thug
poet?
like she.
She a poet and she from LA. Oh, is it Tupac?
Absolutely. I mean, I live here in Atlanta, but I mean, I'm from LA all day.
Yeah, was it the abs?
Just so you know, Biggie had Junior Mafia tattooed on his stomach too.
Case that'll sway you. Oh, Shannon said Pac. She's taking Pac. She from LA too. That's LA.
She from LA too.
Yeah, that's LA. But all right. So V-Ray, you said you got big,
Yeah,
and you from Kansas, so you a
I'm
little
from.
more new.
Yeah, I'm from Kansas City. So yeah. But I appreciate both. I just think, to me, I think Big, his delivery, he didn't have like one cadence and one delivery. I think Tupac told some great stories and was a good illustrator, but a lot of times his cadence didn't he didn't flip it and change rhythms and shit like that. And Biggie did that. I think I read an article. I forgot if it was Big Daddy Kane or somebody was describing the way Biggie's flow switches up is kind of like a improv, like a jazz trumpet player or something like that.
Yeah, that was Shock G. That was Shock G.
It was a Shock G. Okay, well,
Yeah.
so I agree with that. Plus, I think he was another great illustrator for us, his storytelling and the production around his stories. Like the one where they go into the hotel and they rob the dealers and shit like that, and they got the gun sound effects in the rain and thunder and all these different things that add more of a visual element to his music and shit like that. I thought he was a better lyricist and better style.
Okay. All right. Rex, you said Pac. Why Pac?
Honestly, his delivery for me from when he first started out, I really like when he first started out. I mean, he was telling the story from the beginning. He was a hell of a storyteller to me, and he also was for the people. So I'm always fuck with Pac.
Okay. Mars, besides him being from Brooklyn, why big?
To me, Biggie was the body of hip hop. Not to say that Tupac wasn't. Tupac was as an entertainer. He was a poet, actor, etc. But as far as like just focusing on the music aspect, like Big was it. Name an artist whom their first two body of work has been 5 mics. You don't have that. You can listen to a Biggie album, you can listen to it on shuffle mode, and every single song is gonna, pull out a certain feeling from you in which you can relate to.
Well, even though I agree that his first two albums should have had 5 mics, but the 5 mics has been kind of tainted because I feel like those first two Outkast albums should have been 5 mics because they didn't like the South. It's kind of tainted. 5 mics. The West Coast that they didn't give us 5 mics.
They came back and said that they were wrong about that. Outkast's first 3 albums were 5 micers.
Well, yeah, and there was some LA albums that was 5 micers they wasn't giving to us.
Yeah, America's Most Wanted was definitely one.
Dog Pound. But yeah. I will say that as far as Pac, as far as Pac, like one of my favorite all around songs is "If My Homie Call."
Love that record. People forget about that record.
That is like anyone in which is like close friends. It's like I say, "Oh, give me a song." I'm like that. That is one of my all-time favorites.
Unpopular opinion. I love Me Against the World way more than All Eyes on Me. I think that is an incredible album, and I think that was the most I think you know, All Eyes on Me was a huge hit. It had all the hit records and it had all the California Love, All Eyes on Me, you know, like, but that felt like the one side of Pac. It felt like the gangster side.
Mhm.
Like that album,
Yeah.
besides like maybe I Ain't Mad at You, that album felt like the gangster side. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But Me Against the World felt like, in that I feel like you got the poet, you got the actor, you got the sensitive side, you got the gangster side. You know what I mean? Like I felt like that was like to me the best representation of Tupac. All
Mhm.
right, Freckles, now tell me your favorite Tupac body of work and why you pick Pac over Biggie personally.
Okay, well, the personally part is just um, I come from being a storyteller, so I respect good stories. Um, and then for me, Pac just he had an evolution. Me personally, just Biggie kind of felt all of the stuff was good. I'm gonna give you that. It just felt like it wasn't any kind of evolution. You didn't grow from any of that anywhere else. It was just where we came from and what we doing, and then we just kind of celebrated. It just didn't feel culturally in tune for me.
Mhm.
Okay.
What is it? Oh,
The,
so that's just go ahead. What you
the
got?
the one thing is like, I'm kind of thinking about this and I'm being a little bit deep in my thoughts. It's kind of difficult to really choose one of the two. From an entertainment music perspective, yes, I can say Biggie. But as far as challenging me to think, it was always Pac,
Yeah,
especially listening to his interviews. Like, yeah, he's a Panther baby. So
Mhm.
he always came
right.
at you with like, fuck the music. This is, like, my peoples are getting fucked up. One of the biggest, and Dan, I'm not sure if you're aware of it. Yeah, you are aware of it. The driving force division between Biggie and Pac wasn't rivalry. It's the fact that Pac was trying to tell Big not to trust Puff. He was trying to tell him that he didn't want him to be pimped out. That was a driving force, the driving wedge between their relationship.
Hmm.
Well, so for me, well, let me read Red's comment real quick because I thought he said Pac was felt more by a certain bigger demographic. I call it the Mary J. Blige effect. Pac was definitely dope, but Big had the cadence and flow. Me Against the World and Strictly for My Niggas were the best. Now, for me, I'm one of the few West Coast born and raised LA dudes that take Big over Pac.
Whoa, I didn't expect that.
I
But
take
wait,
Big over.
are you talking musically?
So listen, because you know I'm a big Pac fan too. Look at Freckles' face. That side eye. So I'm a big
Mhm,
Pac fan too. It's not that I don't like Pac. It's not like, oh, I take Biggie so I don't like Pac. I like
mhm,
both of them. But for me as an artist too, in talking about like inspiration wise, from a strictly technical standpoint, if we talking technical standpoint, Big is the better rapper. From a just
mhm.
like technical, like cadence, metaphors, stories, like if you just looking from a technical standpoint, I think Big is better.
I
But
agree.
what Tupac, huh?
I agree. But what Tupac had
But
was
what
energy.
Tupac did better was Tupac connected to people's emotions better.
Mhm.
So Tupac had niggas in LA like fuck bad boy hit him up and you was mad at them niggas and didn't know why. Like when you know what I'm saying? Because when you got in the car and played that shit, you felt whatever he was through them speakers, you felt
Hey,
that.
every time I hear that, give me another little something.
Yeah, like you just want
Man,
to fire on a
To
nigga
this
when
day.
you
And I mean, I didn't even mad, but it was just that first line,
man.
boy. Mm.
First line.
so
Let's
so
talk about the introduction. Like, I fucked your bitch. Like, how the fuck did
yeah,
you like respond to that?
And went for his
what
buddy
do you
shake. You
even
fat
say?
motherfucker.
Like, the one thing I don't think people realize is that Tupac changed the way you dissed for that
Oh,
Mhm.
one
for sure.
song.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but and the thing is, again, I think Big had this great, amazing wordplay. Great,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Big could change cadences, and this is something I've seen maybe only him and Eminem do at this level.
Mhm.
Change cadences mid flow, mid sentences, and then change cadences and change the rhyme word
Mhm.
within the word. Which I'm
Mhm.
like, again, I'm talking like I know I'm getting a little technical with y'all, but like I'm talking from a technical standpoint. I'm like, the way this dude would switch flows in the middle and switch, like he start where you rhyme in the last word, but then the second sentence he rhymes the second word with the last word and then changes the very end word. So now the next rhyme is going to start another rhyme. That's kind of
Right.
crazy.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
he did it with like such ease that you probably didn't realize it. You know what I mean? It's one of the things like you don't know that you listening to like some brilliance because it feels so simple. It feels so easy. Like I'll give you an example. Hot, sicker than your average. That's the first rhyme flow, right? Papa twist cabbage. So he averaging cabbage. He in the same line. Hot, sicker than your average. Papa twist cabbage off instinct. Change the flow again. Do this thing. Detroit, like the rhyme is changing like almost every 2 bars instead of every 4 bars, which was like the
Mhm.
usual. Like at the end of every 4 bars, you rhyme. He's rhyming within the bar. Like there's like 2 or 3 rhymes within the bar, and that's make I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3 bang every MC easily.
Easily.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jesus Christ, man. Mr. Miller,
Yeah.
our English teacher in Washington, would be very impressed
Mhm.
with his use. It's
But
the Machiavelli
yeah.
album had me want to fight. Yeah, Shannon, that's what I'm saying. That goes to my point though. Like I said, so from a technical standpoint, I feel like Biggie just did some things that Tupac didn't do, or Tupac didn't even really need to do. Tupac
Mhm.
was like more, it's gonna be straight ahead. He's gonna say what he means. There's not a lot of wordplay, it's not a lot of metaphors. I'm saying exactly what I mean so you can feel it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Back in elementary, thrived on misery. Left me alone, and I grew up amongst a dying breed. Inside my mind, couldn't find a place to rest until I got the thug life tatted on my chest. Ain't nothing crazy about that, but you feel it. When there's so many
Mhm.
tears come on, you feel it. And I think
But
that's the thing that a lot of people who take Pac over Biggie, they connect to that
The
feeling.
energy. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
connect to that
it's the way to me it's the way the oration sounds. It sounds poignant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like the difference in hearing, I don't know, some great person, some intellectual, like a what's his name, the author Katasi, like
Tennessee Coates.
yeah, like hearing Ta-Nehisi Coates speak is like he's brilliant, but hearing Martin Luther King speak, you know what I'm saying? He may not be as fucking intellectually and book sound, but the way he says what he says it has a lot of weight to it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. I think Barack Obama is one of those. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
he's although he is brilliant from an educational book sense too. The tone of his voice, the way he delivers, even the when he like seems like he's hesitating or putting it together or stuttering or whatever. That's his brand. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
people identify
Right.
as much with his sound as what he's saying, and I think that's pockets in that category to me. Because,
No,
like you
he is.
said, he isn't flipping hella lyrical gymnastics, but when he speaks, the way his voice comes on, when you hear him, you automatically know you know it's him. Ain't no other person sounding like him. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And then when he says what he says, like one of my favorites is "Hail Mary" by dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And the way he spits it is just you feel it. And the track is dark, so his delivery is in that same vein, you know, that same vibe and shit. So I think that's one definitive difference for me. I mean, I do still prefer Biggie if I had to choose between the two, but I think that's really what he brought to the table. That was
Mhm.
a genius part of his whole shit.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like I said, and it sucks that we only got a limited amount of music from both of them. You know what I mean? Because I will be interested to see what the evolution of Big would have been, what the evolution of Pac would have been musically. Because I think Big would have been more of a mogul Jay-Z type if he would have been around. I think Pac would have went more into activism and politics if he
Mhm.
still, you know,
If he would have been able to get away from Death Row and Suge's
De-
influence.
yeah, from Death Row and Suge, and I think maybe
Right.
that's another reason too why I feel a little tainted towards All Eyes on Me because I almost feel like that situation got him killed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that, so it feels a little tainted to me. But like I said, All Eyes on Me felt like pure artistry from Tupac. And again, like I said, I'm a big fan of both. But I just think if we just talking strictly lyrics, rhymes, storytelling, I think Big got it. But if I'm talking about what's gonna make me feel something, what's gonna connect and like change my mood, which I think is just as big for an artist as the technical stuff, right? Like if you can just make people feel different, that's not easy to do. One, and if Pac consistently did it, you know what I mean? Like he consistently like changed your mood with whatever he was saying on the record, what he felt,
Mhm.
you felt,
Yeah.
even if that's
Yeah.
not what you was on at the time. Like you can't listen to Hail Mary and not get a little dark feeling. You can't listen to I Ain't Mad at You and get a little melancholy. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like certain things that like as soon as a record come on, it's gonna make you feel a certain way. And I think
Yeah,
Tupac had that. Like,
Especially Dear Mama. Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Dear
Oh
Mama,
man.
yeah, like, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think all those things went into it, but I think that's what make them both great artists in their own right. Just to talk about them separately and separate them and talk about what makes them both great individually, and the things that make them great individually. Because like I said, it's not that you didn't feel what Big said, but you didn't feel it as deeply. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like
No,
you didn't.
Big make you want to get drunk and shoot guns and get somebody pregnant and shit.
Shit, I was a little kid looking at it like I want to rob somebody's baby mom pendant.
Snatching chains on the train and shit.
Yeah, like you got two more stops left. What are you doing?
And commit a crime and stay on the train.
But
That's
you know,
fucked up.
again, like I said, he made you feel a certain thing one way, and to your point, V-Ray, about Tupac feeling like a Martin Luther King, like an orator, like a Barack
Yeah,
Obama, that preacher cadence. I think that's what drew people in and made it. And again, like I said, he was actually a poet first. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Before
Right.
and there's something about being a true poet, not just like
I
a
agree.
rapper who like poetry, but like being a true poet. He's gonna connect on a different level when it comes to like the way he emits that. Because with poetry, and we do the Fly Poet Show a lot of times. Sometimes the poets who don't use the biggest words to me be the dopest because they know how to be minimal and say the most.
Right.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
like them poets using a bunch of words, I'm like, you lost me. I don't know what you're talking about. That shit just sound like a
Mhm.
bunch of words. You know what I mean? But so, and I think that's what Tupac had. Tupac had that poet thing, like where he could just like really get to the core of something, strip it down, feel it, strip it down, and make you feel like, oh shit, like that's how I feel right now. Or there's a part of me that can connect to what he's saying, like that can relate. But again, you can't go wrong with either. I think they're both amazing artists. You about to say something, V-Ray?
I was just gonna say that I gave his lyricism I guess a respectable credence at the time, but I kind of scoffed when I first heard that they were making like Tupac's writings college course, right? But when
Yeah.
you see them actually when I got a glimpse of what they were doing in class and actually breaking down what what was said lyrically, it was like, oh shit, that shit really is poetry. It's not like
Mhm.
some record label spawning do a class about our artists, and make him a martyr, give him more of that martyr effect. It was actually content that was worthy of being looking taking a deeper dive into it. Gives a different respectability of hip hop overall. But if anybody's lyrics really deserve that and not clap that ass till the booty juice drop and all that shit, what I'm saying, lyrically, this dude was writing poems to beats, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's like Brenda's Got a Baby, So
Yeah,
Many Tears.
keep your
He
head
had a
up.
song, Keep Your Head Up. He had a song called Outlaw on Me Against the World. We talking about like the little kids who was, banging in the streets. You know what I mean? Like again, when you go back in retrospect and you listen, you like, damn, Pac was really on some solid shit, like saying some real. stuff back on those records back then.
Until he started fucking with Death Row, but that's a
Yeah.
whole other
Yeah.
show. He code switch like a motherfucker. Then it's like,
Yeah, because like I said, Death Row, he had the jams. It was the jams.
yeah,
But I
Dr.
don't
Dre.
think
Yeah,
it wasn't the same introspection that it was like the Strictly for My Niggas and Me Against the World album. There was a different type of introspection from Pac. And then I think, the world had beat up on him a little bit too, putting him in jail and being shot. So I think that also changed the trajectory of his perspective and the way he wrote and spoke. But yeah, like he was killing on that. Like, listen, Me Against the World was a double disc, and I know y'all remember at that time. Not you, Rex. I don't think he was even here yet. But Me Against, I think Me Against the World. Like, you remember how big that record was? Like, that record was the record when it came out. You couldn't go nowhere without hearing Me Against. You couldn't go to the club. You couldn't get in the car. You couldn't drive down the street. Literally, when Me Against the World came out, it was the event and it was the record. I remember people like watching behind the scenes. This is before behind the scenes was a big thing, right? At a California Love video on the jukebox before it dropped. They had the box videos, but they were selling just a behind the scenes of California Love. People was paying for the behind the scenes to watch Roger and Zapp, Dre and Tupac just talking about the video. And that's to say, I remember it was like the event. So good times, good music. I wonder if we ever gonna get music that give us that event vibe. Well, shit, Kendrick just gave it to us, but not like us. He gave that shit. He gave it to us with the pop out. That was like an event.
I think we will get it, but I don't think we'll get it like on such a massive global scale. Yeah. And then, then to add on, do you think Tupac would have made Jada look normal?
Fuck.
Oh, that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other show.
What the fuck?
It's getting late. Rob's getting sleepy, man.
Yeah.
Do you think
It's almost midnight where he at.
Do you think Muhammad Ali, Will Smith would have swung on Tupac?
Hell no.
Well, hell no.
On Piccolo, ain't nobody swinging on Piccolo. Remember niggas Piccolo on Different World.
But Pac wouldn't have insulted Jada either. I would think, unless she was an East Coast rapper. But
if she was going at the woman that he was quote unquote connected with, I could see him throwing a little bit of shade at her.
She was the woman he was connected with.
No, she wasn't.
Right.
She wasn't.
How do you know, Rob?
Hey man, I pay attention to things.
It's right here on the internet.
Internet's one thing, but she says it, but then it's like, you see and you start hearing stories and stuff after fact from various sources, and which is like kind of challenges what Jada is saying. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, like I said, that's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah,
and I know it's getting late, but I want to get y'all before my East Coast and down South people got to get out of here anyway. We're going to talk about Politrix really quickly. All right. This is the last 5 days before the election, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, I'm nervous.
And this week was called, what they call this, the final statement. What was this week called?
Closing argument.
Closing arguments. There you go. I knew it was something I was saying that wrong. This was the closing arguments. So Trump's closing arguments, by and large, were the MSG, Madison Square Garden, in Mars' hometown. The
Jesus
Madison Square Garden
Christ.
rally, where it got a little bit controversial, got a little bit reckless. That was his closing arguments. And then Kamala Harris' closing arguments was in front of the ellipse in Washington, D.C. Now, before we get to Kamala's closing arguments, let's talk about Trump's closing arguments and y'all thoughts. And do you think his closing arguments did him good or did him harm? Let's go.
What's up? I would say that he didn't do himself any favors. He didn't really do himself. He didn't advance his position because that was just theater for the people that's already on board, which is pretty much on brand for all of his Stumpin stops is that he basically plays to the established audience. I don't think he really is doing much from an outreach perspective to gain new people. He may have done this, inadvertently shot himself in the foot with the comments on Puerto Rico that ironically didn't come from him, but still was some spoken shit that fucked him up. He's usually the person that is the architect of that. So that's what I think. I don't think he gained any ground. And if he lost anything, it was because of the comedian.
Go ahead, Mark. Let me hear it.
I'm trying to put it in context, but I do believe that he did gain ground. And the reason why I say that is because he had a fucking rally in the middle of New York City in which MAGA people went into a gathering. The second thing is we know this motherfucker is racist as fuck. And whatever came out of it speaks volumes to those white nationalists.
Okay, but to your point though, I feel like those people he had already. It was already
No,
baked. I think that was baked in already. I don't think
right. No,
me personally, I don't think he brought in new voters. I don't think he flipped a lot of undecideds. He probably flipped some, but I don't feel like that MSG look was the look that he needed the last week going in. First of all, like let's just do a couple of like some numbers, right? You know, we talk about this election is going to come down to the battleground states, the blue wall, right? So you talk about
Right.
Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, what's the other one? Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Atlanta. I mean Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania,
Georgia.
yeah,
Arizona, Phoenix.
Arizona.
But
Well, that's Arizona, like not
I think
Nevada.
that's lost. Texas.
Yeah, that's the
North
Sun Belt.
Carolina.
No, the blue wall is like Wisconsin.
Oh, Michigan.
Yeah.
I
But
can't
anyway,
even count on
so
it.
at that time, while they were saying that in New York about Puerto Ricans, Kamala just so happened to be at a restaurant with a bunch of Puerto Ricans doing an event, right? And also, we know that there's a Puerto Rican population in Pennsylvania of about 500,000. If that happened and he chipped off enough, because you know they were like losing states back and forth. Biden and Trump were losing states by like 50,000 votes, 40,000 votes. They were losing states on the margins. So I do think pissing off Puerto Rican people was a bad look when you got a big Puerto Rican base in a lot of the blue wall states, in a lot of those places where every vote is going to count. Because you even had one dude, like I know one guy was like, I had already voted for Trump by mail and now I feel ashamed and I'm mad, but I'm calling everybody in my family telling them not to vote for him.
Yeah,
Like that,
it happened in such close proximity to election day too. That's they don't have time to walk that back and do some Puerto Rican outreach and all that shit like that. Not the kind that's needed. Like he tried, like you saw that video that got posted of the song the next day with some motherfuckers from Cuba. They weren't even Puerto Rican and shit. So they don't have the mental infrastructure to like penetrate the culture and get it right in time, I think.
Right. But at the same time, and this is what scares me about it, is that they could just decide like, oh, we're not going to vote.
Yeah, that too. But I think there's a difference in he pissed me off, so you're gonna get some spite votes. You know what I mean? It's not like he actually probably gonna get some people who wasn't gonna vote. That's Puerto Rican, probably gonna vote now, and not for him.
And some that maybe were gonna vote for him that just ain't gonna vote for him, even if they don't vote, Rob. That's still not a vote cast in his favor. And I saw some commentary of people, man on the street interviews that spoke to that.
Yeah. All right, Freckles. What's your take on what you heard from the Madison Square Garden rally?
I could only listen to so much of it because then it just sounds like buffoonery at some point. But I don't see where. I think I think the focus just, it always feels like the focus just be on the people that is already with the shenanigans.
Right.
It's not your, it's never like, let me appeal to anything. He's one of those people that is kind of, you already feel like you're above all anyway. And so you just kind of just gonna keep on shooting the same shit because you feel like it's already worked.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I, at some point I just kind of stopped because then I was like, I can't, I can't. I can't.
Okay, but so let me ask you because you're a woman
But it's kind
and
of crazy because I mean, around here, it's essentially like where I live now. I don't live immediately in the city, so I'm kind of out on the outskirts or whatnot. And so,
Mhm.
just seeing that out here, there's still like a lot of there hasn't been a lot of change. It's kind of sort of, I mean, as far as like some of like the younger people are sort of with the shits now, are kind of like, oh well, no, we're not. Forget about him, but they're still like I drove past the gas station the other day, and I mean, someone's great grandma was sitting on the corner with her big old Trump flag and
Mhm.
all of the stuff, and just sitting out there on the corner of the street and on the main street with her chair and all her Trump shenanigans or whatnot. So, I mean, it's sort of a trip that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not gonna there's people that just can't see past any of the bullshit because they feel how they feel, and that part for me is always kind of scary. So I kind of feel you on that part because then there's still some of your cousins and them that they talking about they checked that what that he didn't give them for real, but
yeah,
Mhm.
man.
I just think that the it'd be the main part just be the people that kind of, oh damn.
Yeah. Georgia is
Uh-oh.
a very interesting place because it's like inside that 285, 275 loop is like very progressive, very democratic thinking. Outside that 275, 285 loop in Georgia, that's that red population.
Yeah. Let's read
And
Ron comment. He said if they supported Trump until that rally, nothing said during that rally would change their mind, in my opinion. Trump supporters are a different type of American. They are dug in regardless of what he says or does. The misinformation is real to them. I'm gonna tell you what one of this is a great comment, and I agree with you, Shannon. Either way, America is going to get the president it deserves. Period. Either way. I agree with that. What I do find interesting is that there was um such a fuss made about the Puerto Rican joke, but right before that there was a joke made about black folks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there was no apology to black folks. There was no mention of it on press and on right wing and left wing. Like there was no mention of the what up, cousin? How you doing, Maisha? I need to come get some candles, girl. Need some candles for my room. All right. But there was no mention of that. And to me, that shows the amount of don't give a fuck that the Republicans have for black folks that they was like, yeah, we got to try to fix it for the Republicans. I mean, for the Puerto
Mhm.
Ricans, but we're not even gonna mention that the dude said he was carving watermelons with a black dude for a
Yeah.
Halloween. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like that even like, you know what I mean? What are y'all thoughts on that?
well, the thing is, when you look at Latino, I'm talking specifically, I'm grouping it together Latinos. They're very used to, and they usually lean heavily to conservative. Dictatorship, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, even when you talk or listen to some of the interviews for those Latinos down south and hear their justification for Trump, it's more along the lines of it's stuff that they're used to. They may have some of those feelings. It's just that, they don't, it's not necessarily known on a wide spectrum. I'm not saying that all Latinos are racist and whatnot, but every race has a little bit of racism to them. I know Indian folks can be racist as fuck. I'm
Oh,
Indian,
I
so
hear the fireworks. Dodgers won.
God,
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's it, right?
I didn't put
yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
together.
that's
it.
it.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
it. That's
Congratulations.
it.
What is
That's
that
it.
number?
Let me
That's
refresh my
it.
screen.
Damn.
Does it say final?
Dodgers win Game 5 with the largest comeback to clinch a World Series of all time.
That's crazy.
So y'all
Yeah,
lose
they
in
was down
spectacular
5-0.
fashion.
Man,
Mars, y'all lose in amazing fashion.
I'm going to bed.
Oh, he's really gonna turn dark now, bro.
Man, at this point, I want Cashman.
Shane voted for.
Don't say. I want Cashman fired. I want Boone fired. Yeah,
that means Robert. Look, that means
Get it out, Rob. Get it out, man.
I know Speed was like Robert should be fired. Robert ain't getting fired for sure now.
Hey.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. But yeah, Dodgers, go Doyer. But yeah, man, like I think we in a crazy place right now, you know, politically, because I think it's gonna come down to the, you know, it's gonna be when we're gonna be watching the map all night. But I do feel like, to me, from what I've been watching on both sides, like with Trump's rallies getting smaller and smaller, with Kamala's rallies getting bigger and bigger. With
Wait a minute, 8? Y'all only got 8? Oh, I feel good about myself. Y'all can have 8. I got 27. But
oh, here you go. Whatever. Won tonight, man. We champions right now.
No, to all those in LA, congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear the fireworks?
Yeah, I can hear him over here.
Yeah, mine going crazy.
Sure, that's fireworks or gunshots?
Fire both.
Then Rob trying to play dirty and shit. You know the murder ratio in California.
Hey Rob, Ron said we only count the ones where black people could play.
Oh damn!
What up, Jimmy? Go Dodgers.
You know what else gonna be funny? You can see like black folks wearing Otani jerseys tomorrow.
Everybody gonna tune in now because the Dodger game is over.
Yeah.
But what up, Dante? Let's go, Dodgers. But yeah,
Okay.
I think this race is gonna be a squeaker, but I do feel like Kamala's gonna pull it out.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm concerned, man, because there's so much of this last minute shit that's going on.
Come on, like them burning the ballot boxes.
Well, that and the voter rolls getting purged in a lot of places, and it happening on the cusp of the election where it's not being able to be litigated or objected against. Like Virginia, their case went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld them removing voters from the voter rolls. And the ballots being burned. Some dude that was a politician in Indiana, what's his name, Tony Hinchcliffe, was stealing ballots. He got caught on the security camera and shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You ain't trying if you ain't cheating.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that with that and the redesigning the gerrymandering and all the shit that's been put into place and making it more difficult for people to vote, making it illegal to give them water. All this stuff has happened over the last 2 years, really 4 years, but the last 2 years, a lot of it is coming to play. This is the time that all that shit is being pulled out to impact the race. And a lot of people that were stop the steal people in the previous election are now election officials and shit in a lot of these places. So there's a lot to look out for.
Did you see Ron Wilson comment about electoral votes in the possible House vote? Yeah, he said another point is what if either candidate gets enough electoral votes? It's gonna be a damn mess. Like if that happens, it's gonna be a damn mess.
Well, oh boy, Mike Johnson already was talking about he would be if they keep the House, the Republicans, that he would vote to not certify the election and shit if it didn't turn out the way. This is the Speaker of the House, right? Only if the House gets overturned and the Democrats get it could that be a thing. But even no matter how it turns out, Mike Johnson is poised to not certify it. And if you recall, when Mike Johnson was in hot water and they wanted to get rid of him after he didn't vote on the budget. I mean, what do they call it? The deficit, like vote to get more credit to kick the can down the road. And the Republicans, Marjorie Taylor Greene was trying to get rid of him, and then he went down to Mar-a-Lago and met with Trump. Remember, and then it came out, and they were all doing photo ops and shit together. That may
Yep.
have been when the seeds were planted for this outcome that they're talking about right now, because they were saying. Trump was saying in some of his speeches that him and Mike Johnson have a surprise that he'll announce after the election's over and shit, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
And then Mike Johnson, I saw some clips of him where somebody leaked footage of him making a speech to a Republican group, and was saying that was a surprise, that they could not certify the election, and that once Trump is in, they're going to take a blowtorch to Obamacare and dismantle it piece by piece and all this shit like that. So it's like the fix is in, man, to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mean to be the harbinger of doom and shit, but you know what I mean?
But hey, we got to talk about what it really is and what's really going on and what could happen. And like you say, maybe 8 years ago we would have been like, no, ain't no way to. After January 6th, I believe almost all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Mike Johnson changed his tune, from his support of Trump before he got in hot water and shit. So this whole thing with the border deal getting overturned and all that shit like that, I think that was Trump's influence.
And let's not forget about Project 25.
Yeah, that's the playbook. So without Mike Johnson, they won't get to that necessarily.
Cops have full immunity.
Yeah. So anyway, good times. We'll see. I'm optimistic that Kamala has enough popular vote, shit, and maybe electoral votes to win. But then Trump is already saying the shit about they're cheating in Wisconsin or somewhere. He filed a lawsuit against the state or some shit like that, and the election day ain't even got here yet.
And you know what? Another thing that I think we need to watch out for too. I think a lot of women who have MAGA husbands are probably going to vote for Kamala. I think that's
interesting.
I think that's a demographic, because I've seen more and more like white women kind of like, we tired of this shit. So white women, it's up to y'all. Democracy is in your hand, white women.
I think the autonomy of female medical care is a deal breaker with a lot of women, regardless of Democrats or Republicans.
Good point from Ron. Ron said, regardless of who wins, we need to remain vigilant about what we want from whoever wins. If Trump wins, we need to stay on his ass like white on right. Same goes for Kamala. I'm not mad at that. You got to push the line no matter who wins. But I think
it's going to be harder to stay on Trump's ass. So
yeah,
he's building a cushion that he needs that he didn't have last time. Like last time, he at least had some reasonable motherfuckers to say, "Hey, man, you can't do that shit," when he was going to go wild out and do some crazy shit. This time, he's stacking his yes men to the point where nobody's going to say shit. Yeah. I mean, he's going to fucking make Elon Musk the head of something, and then fucking
RFK
spending.
Yeah, RFK, like in Health and Human Services. This motherfucker got a worm in his own brain. How the fuck is he gonna look out for other motherfuckers' health and shit? You couldn't even keep a worm out of your own brain. What health decisions are you making for motherfuckers and shit?
Yeah,
I mean, he needs fucking, in my opinion, he needs like counseling or some therapy of his own and shit. You don't put a motherfucker in charge of big shit that need therapy.
Well, gentlemen, I'm gonna have to call it a night, but thank you.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, we all about to. Yeah, that's what happened. We all about to call it night. Hold on, player. I'm getting you out of here. I know it's midnight and the Yankees lost. That video rolling showed that the Lincoln Project created is very telling, showing white couples going to vote and the husbands talking to each other about their wife voting for Trump, and then the wives give each other the head nod about voting for Trump. I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to, like V-Ray said, women's body autonomy. I think there's going to be a lot of defectors there that's probably not counted for in the polls. I really do.
Thanksgiving's going to be a motherfucker this year, boy.
You voted for that nigga, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Tammy, tell me you didn't, Tammy.
Right.
Tell me you didn't vote.
Well, I'm pregnant.
Right. So let's get Mars out of here. Point was, hey, let me tell you something. I think Kamala Harris has run a great campaign with the time she had, and I think her surrogates have been running great campaigns too. And I think a lot of Trump surrogates been exploding, like the dude who said some way racist shit on CNN and got banned. He told the Muslim dude, "I hope your beeper don't go off." Like he
Oh
just
yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
they can't help themselves. Like the crazy thing was they was talking about the Trump rally being racist at Madison Square Garden, and you were supposed to argue against it, and that was your argument, more racist.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah,
But
we had more coons than we ever had in one room. Didn't nobody hang none of them. Oh.
so we're gonna get into the super duper group, and this super duper group is your top 4 New York MCs. That's why we had to have you, Rob.
I'm going last.
Oh Lord.
All right.
You're gonna say Master P or some shit.
Oh
For
Jesus
the
Christ.
audience, everybody, for the audience, tonight's super duper group is your top 4 MCs of all time. Your top 4, your favorites.
Oh, I thought it was East Coast.
I thought it was top 4 in New York rappers.
Yeah.
Yeah, top 4 New York. I'm sorry, top 4 New York. Top 4 New York. Y'all want me to go first so I can give y'all time to pick?
I'm ready, but go for it.
Biggie, Jay, Cool G Rap, LL.
Oh, I forgot about LL. God damn it. Okay. Well, here's my original list was Jay-Z, Jadakiss, Biggie, yeah, and in my opinion, Talib Kweli.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm sorry. What's the other dude? Most Def.
Most Def. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. All right, Ron said super duper group MCs: Biggie, Nas, Rakim, and LL. Not mad at that.
No, not bad.
Big score. Rex, what you got? I know you ain't a big East Coast New York dude, but who you got? Oh, hold on. Are you muted? Oh no, you on.
You muted.
You muted. Hold on, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of New York rap. Don't do me off like that. Don't do me off.
Disrespectful?
You hurt my feelings because I fuck
Oh,
with
okay,
Red
my
Man.
bad.
I
I
fuck with
didn't mean.
Method Man. You hurt my feelings. Come on now. So yeah, Method Man, Red Man. I'll go Biggie, and probably I was gonna say Most Def too. So I'm gonna just go Most Def.
I'm tripping.
But Red Man's from Jersey though.
Yo, Jersey, my fault.
That's still New York.
That's still
I gotta take
New York.
Coogee Rap off and put Method on. I'm tripping. I
Yeah,
gotta have
Method,
Method on my list.
Gotta have Method on there.
I gotta have Method on my list because he's in my top 5. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. Yeah, so for me it'll be Jay, Big, Method, and LL. That's my 4.
Now, with the focus being on New York, I have to say that's why I left off Red Man and Black Thought, because Black Thought is a fucking monster, bro. If you listen to his rhyme book, that
we're gonna do all the East Coast, but I wanted to get very New York specific.
Yeah, everybody gave good New York heads.
Oh, this is a good one. Honorable mention: Big Daddy Kane. To me, Jay got too many bitten lyrics to be in the top 4, top 5.
That's a good point, Ron, because that used to piss me off about Jay-Z. For real, that nigga be like, I'm paying homage when you still like 8 bars and shit to somebody. Like, nigga, I don't go to Walmart and like take food and drink. I'm paying homage to motherfucking Walmart. Why y'all arresting me?
All right, Shannon, she dropped hers. Shannon said she got LL Cool J. Oh, damn it. Busta Rhymes, RZA, and Jadakiss. I can't take none off my 4s, but Busta Rhymes will have to be honorable mention. I think Busta is like very underrated as far as being one of the top MCs, just because his voice is so dynamic. People don't know how dope his lyrics are. Like, he seems like more of a caricature, but lyrically, Busta is a beast. All right, Rob, the New York guy from Brooklyn. All his people might be from Brooklyn.
Nah, I'm gonna go with Big, of course. But being that everyone said Big, I'm not gonna say Big. I'm gonna go Guru.
Super New York. You a super New York nigga.
Whatever, dude. Let me finish.
That's the most New York Guru. The number. You gonna start with Guru?
No, because everyone's saying Biggie, so I don't feel like
I get
repeating
it,
what
but I'm
everyone
just
got.
saying. Even to go to know in your brain to go to Guru is like the most New York East Coast. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Gangstar was a motherfucker. So I'm gonna go Guru. KRS-One.
Okay.
Redman. And Lauryn Hill.
Ooh.
Just so I can add a motherfucker so ignorant niggas can hear me.
Ooh. Lauren. With one album?
Fugees?
She get on
2 albums?
Oh, right, you right. My bad.
She got 3.
My bad for the disrespect. Hey, V-Ray, you missed a good one. Give me your 4 again, Mars. You missed a good 4.
Guru, KRS-One, Redman, and Lauren.
Hold on, I heard the last 3. Who was the first one?
Guru.
You didn't say Big, nigga? I can't believe that.
No, because everybody said Big. I don't feel like repeating what everyone's saying. I was gonna say Big Daddy King, but then Ron said Big.
Lauren is dope. I forgot about her. Lauren, KRS,
Redman. In fact, no, I'm gonna take off Guru. Big Pun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
Or Joey Crack ain't bad.
Joey Crack not bad either.
You know what? I was never a big Joey Crack fan on his own. I feel like Joey always needs somebody with him to be dope.
He's always good with Remy Ma and what's the other nigga
good
name?
With Remy, he good with Fun, but I never just like, oh, let me throw on this Joey Crack record.
Yeah.
You know?
But no, that's a good team.
He's from Philly.
Memphis from Philly? No, he not.
Yeah, yes, he is.
No, Memphis
from ain't he from Long Island?
Yeah, Memphis from New York, because Jay-Z used to go pick him up for the studio.
Oh, yeah, the nigga that ain't from New York is Redman.
Well, I can't really, say someone that used to bunny hop in front of Diddy. So,
damn.
And then,
well, hey, can we give Redman honorable mention though? Because like,
that nigga's a New York rapper, man.
You can also say, you can also say Mace.
No, you can't. Mace.
Yes, that first Mace album.
Man, that nigga had ghostwriters out the ass, man.
No, Mace was not.
No, actually, Mace was the ghostwriter.
Yeah,
we are finding. Mace was the ghostwriter.
I like Mace very much personally.
Go listen to his first album again.
I mean, just his diction is fucking sound like he's trying to
hold. Whoa! Pause. Whoa! Whoa!
We're making a record.
Yeah, we talking about the top 4 MCs from New York. That's our super duper group.
Ron
said, "I take Cameron over Mace." That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I will say,
I'm not a big Cameron.
I will say though,
beat Mace.
If y'all watch Mace new freestyles when he be on the show with Cameron, Mace been dope. With the little when he's
wing freestyle.
Check those out. Him at the desk going, and I'm like, oh, this murder Mace. This before he became Pretty Boy Mace. This was murder Mace. This Harlem World Mace. Kind of dope.
We didn't even say DMX. God rest his head.
Yeah, DMX. Nobody didn't say DMX. That's crazy.
Well, DMX to me is like
Shannon.
Tupac.
That's it. You hit the nail right on the head, Shannon. Man, you got to read Shannon's comment.
Not the Mace. I always thought he was a little slow, like he was on the spectrum.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, bro.
No,
why do you make me read that? I'm gonna get canceled now, V-Ray.
I'm just saying, whose friend was Mace? Who's was Mace's daddy? Y'all put my son in that goddamn group. I don't give a fuck what else happened.
No, I
want to rap.
I will say, just listen to the first album because that was a very underappreciated album.
Yeah, I have to
KRS
listen
One,
to it from a lyrical
DMX.
standpoint. Honestly, I
Was
didn't get it.
was the last one supposed to be Rakim, Steph? 'Cause I don't know.
Luke.
Luke Doodle Brown. I don't know if that's gonna make the list. So I think it might be a typo. So KRS DMX one, but I'm thinking you might be saying Rakim, right? Let me know.
Or
His
ODB.
clothes are dope, but he's a Trump supporter. So, Cameron, yeah, Cameron and Mace actually are both Trump supporters.
Really?
Yeah, and Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson's on the show. They was like having a conversation, three of them.
Yeah, but are you
Lil
gonna say
Kim.
something?
Ooh,
Lil
how you
Kim, yeah,
Lil
yeah,
Kim,
yeah.
man?
I can't put that because Biggie used to write her shit. But I respect it though. That aqua hair when that photo shoot.
Well, no.
French kiss.
He did, but Kim had a whole career after Big died.
Man, all I remember is that aqua. You know the photo I'm talking about where she
Yeah,
had the aqua hair?
yeah. But
Yeah.
even though Big wrote a lot of her first album, Kim wrote a lot of her albums after Big died.
Mm-hmm.
Kim was a beast. Kim is a beast.
Yeah, that hardcore album cover was really talking to me
Ron
back then.
coming in with the women. He said, "Give me light." Queen Latifah, Roxanne Shante, and Lil Kim. I don't know if you can beat that for the women in New York. If y'all can, let me know. I don't know if you can beat that for.
I would wait. Let me see the list again.
Pop it up again. MC Light.
So,
Lauryn Hill.
Lauren. Remy Ma. I don't really like Nikki, but I'll just have to put her up there because early Nikki was a beast.
She had a career. She had a run. Nikki had a run.
She's still on her run. She's still on her run.
And Nikki, Nikki D.
Oh yeah, didn't she just pass away?
Oh damn.
No. Nikki is Nikki D the one who's with Sway?
No, that was Boss. Wasn't it Boss?
Yeah, that was Boss who
Yeah,
passed.
Boss.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to kill nobody. Yeah, that was Boss. Nikki D is the one who's with Sway. Nikki D is
Daddy's little girl. What? That shit.
Nikki gets my honorable mention. I can't wait till we do. We're gonna do the West Coast women next week. We're gonna do West Coast women and West Coast LA MCs. LA women. Kim, Light, Remy Ma, and Lauren. Okay, I'm not mad at that, Shannon. I'm not mad at that. That's not a bad, for the women. I like that.
Yeah.
I think Latifah, May used to be good too. Who's May?
Like that back and forth between Latifah and Moni Love.
I literally just posted Moni Love on my Instagram probably a couple minutes ago. I literally just posted. I love, but Moni wasn't she British?
Yeah. Is she still in the States or is she did she leave?
Yeah, she's still here. She's a radio host. She hosts a radio show.
Okay.
She is Muhammad Ali's daughter. Oh, I'm not hip. I'm gonna have to go check her out. I'm not hip to Muhammad Ali's daughter rapping. I'm hip to Layla whipping ass. Foxy Brown, honorable mention. Foxy was killer. I don't think Foxy get her props, and I wish she was able to make more records. She started going deaf, so she couldn't make no more music.
Damn, fucked up.
Yeah.
Damn, Nikki D is 56.
Yeah, man. Yeah, brother.
Damn, she in cougar territory.
Who's that?
Nikki D.
Oh, Nikki D.
Yeah.
Like the latest photos they got of her. Okay.
Anybody got any more before we get out of here? Anybody got any more? Layla was the singer and Mimi was the oldest daughter out of all of the kids. She was a rapper first. Okay. Oh, damn. Nobody said 50?
Man, come on, man. I just feel like,
50
is just...
That's the problem.
Man, 50 with Drake right now. We can't really fuck with him like that. Motherfucker trying to
50 had a cold run. 50 had a cold run.
Man, 50 need to get back at. You wanna know what I'm pissed off about? Yeah, I'm gonna go off on a tangent right now. Everybody calling for Ghost to come back. This motherfucker don't want to bring Ghost back. We have to watch 3 episodes of Tariq. Fuck up Tariq. all of a sudden became a drug dealer. Like, what the fuck is that shit about him? And then it ended off like, yeah, I'm Ghost now. I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna put a network together. Motherfucker, get your ass. What the fuck? Take your ass to Chicago. Let me get Tommy. Then you got your best friend and whatnot. One is a mini Tommy and shit. I can go off. I'm not gonna go off. I'm going to bed. See y'all later.
Go off, Dark Maggot shit. Let them know how you feeling.
There go Dark Maga Mars.
Dark Mega Man.
Shit,
There
I
go
canceled
Dark
my
Mega Mars.
stars. I canceled my star subscription.
All right, well, we want to thank everybody who watched the show. I knew people was gonna join late, y'all. I ain't tripping because I know the Dodgers is playing today. So y'all can watch this on the replay. I'll post it on my page. Make sure y'all go vote and call 3 or 4 or 5 people y'all know. Tell them to vote, and then tell them to call 3 or 5 people, 3 to 5 people, and tell them to vote. This is going to be a very important election. Make sure y'all go out and vote for your best interest. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you see any MAGA person that's trying to persuade you not to vote, spit in their face and just go in there and vote.
Jesus, Rob, no, Rob, what are you doing? Rob turned into a gremlin after midnight. I see what happened.
He got wet and shit. Everything fucked up.
Rob turned into a gremlin after me. You see, hey, y'all see the immediate switch after. That's why he's trying to get off. Like turn like Michael Jackson on Thriller, like I'm not the other guy.
No. Get that hot tour.
Now he's turning to Tupac. Shoot him up.
Exactly. Let us see your stomach, man.
He got that.
Thug life on his shit.
Hey man, it's been a great show. Make sure y'all go vote. I'm gonna figure out what's going on with this StreamYard so we can get everything back to the way it's supposed to be. But go Doyers. Sorry, go Rob, for the Yankees. Go vote. Vote blue.
Donate.
Right. And donate. Hey, make sure y'all donate to the fund. I'm put it in before we go. Grayson Views. All right. Grayson Views at Venmo and Cash App. Grayson's View. Grayson's View. All right. Make sure y'all donate so we can get these drums to the blind kids in Africa. This is serious to us. This really means a lot. We really want to get this done. Trying to raise $650. I know with our audience and the people we know, we can raise $650, right? Let's do it, y'all. Let's get it done. Rob, so good to have you here, man, for a whole show. It's been a long time. That's what I said. I've been trying to start earlier so we can get you out of here. That's why I'm like, we got to get on at 7:15 so we can get you out of here before, like right at 9, before you turn into a gremlin, like somebody fed you up.
Bruh, I'm looking at these photos of Nikki D right now.
We don't need to hear that. All right, y'all. Get the real creep life right now. Not with the just
R. Kelly.
Oh, hell, bye, y'all. Good night.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all.
All right.